CJ, first off, how's your ankle?
It's getting better by the day. I just got out of the training room, so hopefully I'll be able to go today.
How challenging was that where you hit the big three and then, I mean, you had to come out late. I mean, obviously, you were in pain, but when the team is going through an offensive half like you guys are and you weren't able to physically contribute the way you normally would, what was that like for you?
It definitely hurts just because I know I can't go out there and help my team the way I know I can. But I just had to be one of the biggest cheerleaders on the bench and just keep rooting them on.
As you guys reviewed that game, did you primarily look at the last 8 minutes or what came before that?
We kind of been talking about it all year, just playing like the full 40 minutes, and we played a good first half, and we knew it was going to be tough. They were going to make a run in the second half. That's just kind of what good teams do. And we, like you said, the last 8 minutes, we just didn't string together enough stops and score enough to put ourselves in the position the last couple of minutes to win.
When you looked at some of the looks you were getting in the second half, how much of it did you think you were actually getting what you wanted and you just weren't finishing, or you were getting blocked or whatever, and how much of it was maybe taking not your best shot?
I think we did get a lot of good looks at times. We just couldn't finish a lot of them. And then there was times we probably took some shots that might have not been our best shot for that possession. But that's like where CJ's saying, like, we got to take both halves and put them together, because you can't just have one good half and then come back and not have another good half, because you got to play the whole game, all 40 minutes, and that'll get you the win.
And Coach Holtman has mentioned once or twice that he wants you guys to push the ball a little more and try to get some, I guess, easier offense in transition. But the transition numbers are not great. Just where do you think you guys are in that area of the game, and especially maybe the last two, what have you seen that's sort of held you back from scoring when you get in those positions?
Yeah, we definitely would like to, but there's been times where we're just kind of hesitant in transition. I guess we're focusing on a little bit too much about getting our best shot, and then we end up not taking the best shot possible for us. We just have to continue to be aggressive, especially in the first couple seconds in the shot clock, like he's told us.
One of the things that Chris said after the game against Michigan State was kind of he saw fatigue or some tiredness from your team. Kind of, has practice kind of been different, or how has he approached that? How have you guys approached that feeling, I guess? Have you sensed fatigue in this team?
Really, like with practices, when you get in this point in the year, this is where a lot of teams will be able to separate themselves from a lot of other teams, just because when you have guys that continue to work on their game and continue to work on conditioning and get better, you can make that next jump. But you're playing so many games, so many practices, your body's bound to start to get fatigued. So you just got to work on kind of maintaining and trying to stay healthy throughout that whole process.
Along those lines, have you seen Luther's he was hitting some shots and then he's kind of been struggling? Freshman, do you guys remember back to when you were there? How much of an adjustment is it is it a real thing, the freshman wall? And have you seen it out of maybe the freshmen that it's kind of like their eyes are open that this is a long season?
Yeah, it's definitely a long season. It's not just for the freshmen, but for all of us. The way the Big Ten is this year, everybody's kind of just beating up on each other, and each game that you play is tough, no matter if you're playing the first-ranked team or the last. Yeah, every game is going to be a grind. It's going to be a battle. So I wouldn't consider him being like hitting a wall or anything. Just as one of the older guys on the team, I just got to make sure his confidence is up and he's staying positive about things like that. I mean, I still have the utmost confidence in him, and I hope he has the most in himself.
I guess I was just saying, coming from high school, it's just a different game. It's a different animal. And these guys adjusting to the grind, how do you help them through that? And do you remember back to what that was like, that adjustment?
Yeah, it's definitely different. I mean, like last year with me, like that, just knowing that transition, like it's tough. The physicality, everything, pace of the game, it's something that you got to get used to. But like all our freshmen, they've done a really good job, in my eyes, transitioning. So, like CJ said, we just got to try to, with our experience. You know, he's a senior, I'm second year, but with any experience that we have, we just got to try to give them as much knowledge as we can to help them.
Kind of jumping off Rob's question, how have the young guys done at avoiding big picture issues, instead focusing on the here and now, one game at a time sort of perspective, and how much has Coach Holtman had to stress that with the team?
That's just kind of how he preaches it. Even when we were in the summer and we months away from games. We were just focused on getting better that day, whether it was the weight room or conditioning on the track. So the approach now is pretty much no different. We have to get better today. That way we can prepare ourselves best for tomorrow. Can't really look at what happened in the past or the next games we have coming up. We can only focus on what's right in front of us, and Coach Holtman has done a great job in enforcing that.
Is that harder to do, though, at this time of year when people have a resume and people start talking about the future and that sort of thing? Or is that easier to do now at this time of year because you're in a routine and in a pattern?
Yeah, I would just say we're accustomed to that. That's kind of how he's built a culture for us. We know it's got to be a day-by-day process, and then that way we can look long-term. And if we keep continuing putting good days together, when you look up in a couple weeks, we'll be sitting where we want to be.
Kyle, Coach mentioned on his radio show that maybe you're still dealing with some lingering soreness from your leg. I'm just wondering how that's impacting you and sort of where you think you are relative to being, I guess, 100% healthy.
Still just trying to keep up with, rehab every day, stuff like that, trying to make my legs stronger, icing all the time, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I figured, I was going to have some soreness here and there. I'm not really trying to let it affect my game or anything like that. I just still want to go out there and play as hard as I can every play. So usually when I get going and stuff, though, it feels pretty good.
When you look back at the Michigan State game and what happened in the second half, was there one takeaway that you had that more so than anything else that you guys can't have this specific thing happen again?
I just think we can't have as many offensive lapses as we had, and then that kind of us being kind of a young team, that kind of translates to defense, and so that can't continue to happen, especially when we play teams like that, especially in their gym. They're going to shoot the ball much better in the second half than they did. I'm pretty sure their coach got on some during halftime, just about whatever. And so we just have to make sure we continue to play another good 20 minutes, but more importantly, just take it 4 minutes at a time, and then that way we can look up at the end of the game and be where we want to be.
And then, CJ, a lot of fans, a lot of people are excited about the Nets freshman class that are coming in. But when you as a senior, and this is sort of your last ride, what's it like when you're going through this and you're technically in the bubble, you're fighting for an NCAA tournament spot, but people are also excited about the future, but this is your year. I mean, how do you mentally process sort of that?
Personally, I haven't really put too much thought into that. All I can control is this year, and I'm pretty sure that's the same mindset as everyone on our team and the coaching staff. They've done a good job just expressing how much in the race that we still are in it, and how much fun the rest of the season can be. We're by no means out of it, and so we're just gonna keep focus on what we can control.
CJ, you've talked about, with this being your last year, just kind of some of the emotions that come with that and appreciating your last season at Ohio State. Has that hit you at all? That, I mean, we only got 6 Big Ten games left, and then March is right around the corner. Like, has any of that hit you a little bit?
It hasn't really hit me all the way yet, but I did see like the first March Madness commercial like 2 days ago, so then I just kind of like, yeah, it is coming to an end. It's like really, really close, but I'm just trying to enjoy it as much as I can with my teammates and the coaches, and it's a really fun group of guys, so I really wouldn't want to be anywhere else but besides with them.
How has this year challenged you? I mean, you had to step into a leadership role in this team that you maybe haven't had before, and where you talked at the beginning or in the off season about like getting to know Kyle and trying to build relationships and stuff. But how has this year challenged you as a leader, as a player on this team?
Many different ways. Just being more vocal. That was kind of the biggest difference that I had to transition into from this year and last year. But the biggest thing is the guys just accepted me in being the leader of the team, and they kind of embraced it, and there was no like butting heads with anyone, and I feel like it's just not just me, but we all lead in some kind of different way, so that makes it real easy, and it's just not put on me all the weight. It's not on my shoulders. So, and we all have this same goal in mind, which is making the tournament, winning games, having basically the time of our lives, and so that makes it real easy to play with everyone.
Kyle, CJ talked in the off-season last year about your relationship and how he said he was, as a leader, he knew he had to bring everybody in, and so he specifically mentioned you, that he kind of reached out to you and tried to build more of a friendship. Mm-hmm. What was that process like for you? How did that maybe help you, and what have you seen then from CJ this year as he's tried to be that sort of senior leader on this team?
Oh yeah, no, like with him being a leader, a leader is not someone that you just say and you designate like, hey, CJ, you're a leader now or anything like that. Someone that's gonna lead by example, show guys the right things to do, with the effort on the court, how they are off the court, stuff like that. So this offseason, I mean, we definitely developed like a closer relationship, just hanging out, stuff like that, getting to know each other. We were close last year, but definitely more this year, and I think it helped a lot, like with my game coming into this year, just knowing I had him behind me, more confidence, stuff like that, knowing that I could play, at this level and stuff like that.
Kyle, when you look at this Northwestern team, over the past 3 games, they've had 2 centers in the starting lineup, 1 forward. Does that kind of, make you guys, I don't know if worried's the right word, but especially with the size that they have down low, what is your approach going into a game against 3 big guys like that?
No, I wouldn't say worried or nothing like that. It's just because we try to have the same approach every game. So, we're going to look at their personnel, look at their attacks, stuff like that, how they're going to be defensively, and prepare the same way we do for every team. So just between now and then, just getting ready the best we can and going about that.
So it doesn't change your approach in terms of the increased size? You don't feel like you have more of a specific role in terms of that factor?
No, I think, you just got to go out there and still be physical, block out, get rebounds, stuff like that. That might be a little bit more important in this game with the size, but other than that, yeah, you still want to have the same approach.
To both of you guys, is must win just an overused cliche, or is it accurate of your situation? How do you guys look at the last 6 and how many you need to win, or do you not worry about any of that?
We can just focus on tomorrow. So the way we're going to look at it at this point is each game is a must-win for us. We're just going to prepare today for tomorrow, and kind of how Kyle was saying, just approach it how we approach any other game. As a must-win, it doesn't matter if it's November, December, or February. You kind of want to win all of them, so they're pretty much all must-wins.
Do you feel a sense of urgency, Kyle? About where you guys are right now?
Not necessarily. Sounds like a broken record, but just what CJ was saying, it's still the same. Like, every game we want to come in with a mindset to win. Being the end of the year now, you obviously want to play well. It'll set you up good for, the things to come. But, yeah, we just got to go in tomorrow, focus on just tomorrow. When that's over, next thing, getting prepared for this weekend, and so on.
Since you guys talked about being friends, what do you 2 do when you hang out together? How close are you? Like, could you tell me his favorite movie, and do you know his parents? I mean, can you go into a little bit about?
I don't know about that close, but we hang out, just chill, stuff like that. It's normal guy things.
What do you do when you just chill, CJ?
We just, like last week, we went to go get a bite to eat with Danny. After one of the games, Kyle had a birthday, so I went to his birthday dinner or party, so same thing. But yeah, it's just little things like that we probably wouldn't have connected as much with last year and as we do this year.
Happy belated.
Kyle, do you know Derek Pardon at all? Did you guys cross paths at any point?
I know of him. I think I've met him maybe once or twice, but I don't know him too well.
Just wondering if you played against him or anything like that.
CJ, we talked about how you're a senior leader and 2-year starter. Could you have seen this when you transferred to Ohio State?
Probably not, just from all the reputation of the program. And when I came here, I just wanted to be a part of something special. That was the biggest thing. I wouldn't have expected to be the leader by my senior year or anything like that. But it's definitely an honor to be, the leader of a team, the captain of a team at a program like this. And I'm thankful for every day that I get to be a part of it.
CJ, is leadership synonymous with, experience, or does it really matter how much experience you have? A freshman or a sophomore be considered a leader? Or is it
Yeah. I don't think it's based on your class or anything. Based on the acceptance of your teammates, the approach you bring to the team and what you can bring to the team. Like, some of our freshmen lead in different ways than that they probably lead by their senior years that they do now. But yeah, I think everyone can lead. Like, Kyle leads in his own way, Caleb leads in his own way. So we all are leaders in different ways, and that kind of helps the team.
Does the experience help with, the comfortability?
Yeah, definitely. It's not like anything new to you, just speaking up in timeouts, getting on guys when you have to. They're kind of expecting it, just because of the experience that you have.
Thanks, guys.